Welcome to episode 16 of the BOLO search series, how to turn $1,000 into $100,000. I want to begin this conversation with the understanding of the fact that BOLO deals are opportunities to help you grow your e-commerce Amazon business. There's plenty of deals that can come from these BOLO opportunities. Some of them are on the surface, and some of them will come from a deeper dive into a concept called reverse engineering, as we've covered in previous videos. The number one skill that any new e-commerce entrepreneur needs to learn is how to source their product. And if you'll remember that in the past, I've mentioned that you need to look at a minimum of 50 items before you find one good one. Now, this minimum number of 50 is really more of an average. So what that means is that there'll be times where you'll look at 30 or 40 items and you'll find one good one. Then there's other times where you'll have to look at 80 or 100 or 120 items before one good one appears as a winner. With that being said, the understanding that this is the number one skill that anyone who's selling on Amazon needs to learn, it's important as a reminder to recognize that there are very, very few people on this planet that can become good at this experience in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or even 3 or 4 months. This is an ongoing process. No one learns how to speak a foreign language in 3 weeks. No one can become a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant or an engineer in 3 weeks. No one can become a mother in 3 weeks. Imagine getting pregnant and being frustrated that 3 weeks in, the baby's not born. No, I know that's a ridiculous thing to say as someone who can't have a baby. But in the understanding that we recognize how life works, we realize there's a natural evolution to this process. And I think that too many people give themselves a really hard time and become overly frustrated for absolutely no reason. If you've watched all the videos, then you should be congratulated for all of that. And when you apply all of that information, you should be congratulated for all of that. You should recognize yourself for taking those steps and moving forward effectively. But at the end of the day, it's still a process, and everybody learns differently. And so as you are discovering the tips and the techniques and the strategies, remember, you will get better and better and better at this. The only way this doesn't work is if you quit. There are no other options. Clearly, with an Internet Mastery community, now over $200 million in sales from people who had never sold on Amazon before learning about and hearing about and getting involved in Internet Mastery, it's an important eye-opening reminder that every single one of those people started at zero, many of whom, by the way, never had BOLO deals. And so, yes, I think it's important to analyze BOLO deals. I think it's important to understand the concepts. I think it's amazing to have this technology when you combine it with SpyRivals 3.0 and the Prep Center technology and the repricer. There is no doubt that everything is aligned as it should. I just say this because I see and hear too many people who just come down on themselves and get frustrated and get aggravated with the fact that they haven't figured something out in 3 or 4 weeks. And I just want to let you know that it's okay. So in taking a look at this seller's account, we're going to look at their BOLO deals, and we're going to see if there are any opportunities that we can find. Remember that when someone who is experienced looks at a deal, they see things very differently than someone who's not even sure what they should be looking at. When you don't know what you don't know, it's just a process. So I'm going to take a look at this very first one here. We can see that this is the Zoo Med Instant Water Conditioner something. And let's take a quick peek on Amazon and see what we've got. When we look on Amazon, you'll notice that there are 3 variations for this listing. There's a one variation here. There is a 4.2 ounce. So this one variation is a 2.25 ounce. This is a 4.25 ounce, and then there's an 8.75 ounce. If we take a look at the buying options, we can see that the first few sellers on this listing are FBM, or fulfilled by merchant. The The price gets a little bit higher as we become closer to that fulfilled by Amazon opportunity. There is one seller who's got the price relatively low, that's FBA. But then as we scroll down, we can see that most of the sellers on this listing are going to be FBM. That's important for us to remember because as an FBA listing, we can always sell the item for a little bit more. Let's take a quick peek at the 4.5 just as a comparative note. And when we do that, we'll take a look at their pricing here. And we'll see here that there are many more FBA sellers on the 4.25 size. So the larger size actually has more sellers that are offering FBA, and the price is a little bit lower. We're just looking at it to see what we can see. If we take a look at the largest size, we can see that the pricing, of course, would be significantly more. You can see it's over the $12 range, and there are many FBM sellers, although there are some FBA as well. There's a little bit more profitability, and therefore there are a few more sellers, as we can see. So now let's head back and take a look at where we can get this item. So we can see that we can get the item from Pet Mountain. I'm going to click on petmountain.com. It's going to take me to the listing itself. The first thing that happens is that I can put my email in and get a $5 off coupon. So that's just something we would refer to as discount stacking. I'm going to click no thanks because I'm not actually going to buy this item, but I would absolutely take advantage of that. That's if it's $2.80 for one, that's like getting two for free, which will affect positively our profitability. So when we look at this item, we can see that the 2.25 ounce is $2.80. We can also see that the 4.25 is available for $3.89, and that the 8.75 is available for $5.99. The $5.99 item is the one that interests me the most, specifically because that's the one that seems like it has the most sellers and the most price opportunity. So let's head back over to Amazon and take a look and see what really is going on with the 8.75 ounce size. So I'm going to click on the See All Buying Options. And you can take a look here at the pricing. So you've got $11.42 is the low FBM price. But what I'm looking for is the sold and shipped by Amazon price, which is $12.55. That's going to be our best competitive price, although the price does continue to increase with other sellers who are offering it at that FBA price. So here we can see there actually are not very many other FBA opportunities. So let's take a look in the Spy Rivals lookup and see if there's any opportunity here. I'm going to click on the Spy Rivals lookup, and again, this is not actually the item that we would be selling. We'd be selling the 8.75 ounce just based on what we've looked at so far. Now that I'm here, what I'm going to do is enter my buy price, which is $5.99. But the actual selling price of the item, we're going to scroll up to $12.99 and just see what that does for our profitability. It may or may not be profitable at this price point, but at least we can take a look and see what the Spy Rivals profit calculator shows us. So we'll take a look at it at $12.98, and we can see that it is an 11% profit. We can also see that the estimated monthly buys are 7.64. The average selling price over the last 30 days and over the last year are not relevant in this case, simply because the ASIN that we're looking at is not the ASIN that is on Amazon. We just happen to do a Spy Rivals lookup of a different size item. You can see that we're looking up the 2.25 item. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go back to Amazon, and I'm simply going to look up the ASIN of this specific item. Remember that if you have the one size here, 2.25, you have the second size, 4.25, and you have the third size, 8.75. They are three different ASINs. And if I am here in the URL, I can see that this ASIN ends in 8SG. Whereas if I take a look at this 2.25, I can see that my ASIN has changed. So I'm going to now go over to the 8.75, go back up to the browser, and grab this ASIN here. I'm going to copy it. And now I'm going to take that ASIN back into SpyRivals 3.0. And I'll do this and then look up that specific item. Now what you'll see is some different information here. By the way, one of the points I want to mention is that these UPC codes, as you can see, there are 3 of them, may or may not be relevant. Many times when somebody lists an item on Amazon, that first person that lists it does not use the official actual UPC code. So if we were to click on this UPC code, it'll take us to Google Shopping, and you can see that none of the items are related or relevant. In fact, you see so many items that have the same UPC code lookup. I'll click on the second one, and we'll probably get, yes, very similar information. So this is a concept that we have to give us an opportunity to use that UPC Google Shopping lookup. Unfortunately, it's not very effective because of the way the UPC codes work. And what I'll do is I'm going to take a quick peek at this item here. And what we can see specific to this item is that the pricing does change significantly. Keep in mind that when you're looking at the average 30-day price and the average 12-month price, that does not include shipping. And many times on an item like this, you'll see a price of $5 and then you'll see $8 or $9 for shipping. So it isn't necessarily relevant. I am going to now put my buy price back here at $5.99, and I'm going to change my sell price to $12.99. But I'm going to show you one more quick important point that you have to take into play. So what you can see is that specific to this item, the ROI is 4%. Why is that? Because the profit calculator is going to give you the actual fees and profit based on the weight of the item. There's so many different factors that come into play. Well, the 2.25 ounce is significantly less weight than the 8.75 ounce. And so our ROI is going to change. We have to make sure we're comparing the right item to the right item. Let's go back here and take a look at one more reminder. Initially, we had the opportunity to get a $5 off coupon. And so let's say that we were to just simply buy 5 of these. I understand that we have the ability to sell 7.64, but let's just say we were only going to buy 5. If we're going to buy 5 of these items and we're going to get $1 off for each item, it turns our buy price into $4.99. And when we do that, our net profit becomes 24%. So by utilizing this coupon code of just $5 off by buying 5 units, our profit changes from 4% to 24%. And so we look at this item very differently. Now, if I'm a brand new seller and I'm just starting, this is a gold mine. This is a jackpot. This is literally a home run. Why? Because I can take 5 items. I can invest $5 for each item after the coupon. That's $25. I'm only going to make $1.22 on each one, but it doesn't matter because when you're new, the process of buying inventory, sending it to the prep center, and making those sales builds your confidence, you get those results, and your entire belief system changes. That's why we always talk about results being the single most important thing. I would be willing to bet that we have people in our Internet Mastery community that will watch the BOLO search videos over and over and over again, and yet miss this opportunity. Because they don't understand. And by the way, I'm not being critical. Of course you don't understand. You're new. How can you understand? This takes years and years and years of learning and understanding to really become proficient at it, just like it takes years and years and years to become proficient at anything you want to be the best in. So here's just one BOLO deal, the very first one we look at in this account, and it is great. If I understand what I'm doing, if I look at it the right way, and if I take the right approach, there is no doubt that this opportunity is much bigger than anyone really believes it to be. So I want you to focus. I want you to move forward. I want you to take action. I want you to buy some inventory. I want you to send it to the prep center. And then I want you to watch what happens at Amazon. And of course, when you integrate it with the repricer, that's literally like magic. It's amazing what that does to your business. But the most important takeaway is that I don't want you to beat yourself up and give yourself a hard time because you're frustrated that in 3 or 4 weeks you think all these are bad deals. I'll say it again. There are no bad deals. And the more you learn and the more you understand, the better at this you will become. So I hope that this has been helpful for you and insightful for you and a way for you to learn that much more about how much you actually don't know yet about the BOLO deals.